So we are going to take this concept of the space and playing with the chi a little bit further now. So as you recall, we'll go ahead and just review this for those of you who missed that other video. We put our mind here in the space, and you expand that space, and your hands follow. And then you bring it back, and it's sort of like that magnetic polarity reverses, and you have a little bit of counter resistance. Another way you can feel it is like you're pulling taffy. That works for some people. And then when you bring the space back together, you're just keeping your mind in the space. Okay? And eventually you'll start to feel some chi flowing with that. And when I say put your mind somewhere, it's not that complicated, right? So everybody put your mind in your right index finger. See, that wasn't hard, was it? And then wiggle your right index finger. And now we created a energetic bioelectrical signal down from our mind and our intent down to our finger, and we wiggled it. Simple, easy peasy, nothing mystical, right?
Right.
Okay, so we can place our mind wherever we want. In your left toe, you can put it in the space between your fingers. And I can put it in the space behind her. You feel that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, so now we're going to take this into a two-person partner drill. And the reason we do this, again, is not because I'm trying to teach you a martial art application or a skill to take somebody down. We're just creating a feedback loop. I can't feel my delivery or release, and you need somebody to be able to provide that feedback. And then it's sort of like a barometer or a compass. It helps guide you to cultivate that skill a little bit more. So then when I take it into my Tai Chi has context. It's not just that I'm receiving the tiger and pushing the mountain, and I have all of these principles in place. Nose over dantian, quad down and back, knees bent, elbows, knees connected, you know, the whole list, right? I can have all of that in place, but it can still be empty. So let's try that. So could you make two fists? And so I'm going to try to maintain all my Tai Chi principles and just do an external expression of the form, okay? So external, she pushes, and I receive it in, and then I kind of, yeah, you could tell that didn't work. So that was this. I had everything in place. I was receiving, delivering with all my Tai Chi principles in place. Okay? Now we're going to do the same thing, and I'm going to now add this internal aspect of placing my awareness somewhere else other than on her and other than on my external form and posture. And I'm going to place it in the space, just like I did the space between the space between our hands. Okay. So she's here. So the first thing I'm going to do is all this space between us. That's where my mind goes. And I sort of, just like I inflated it, my hands got further apart. I'm not moving it further apart. I'm just, in my mind, I'm like making those molecules in that space expand. And so now my focus isn't here, and it's not on all those external pieces. It's somewhere in a more intangible place. What did you feel?
It feels relaxed.
Okay.
And gentle.
Uh-huh.
Not a lot of resistance.
Not a lot of resistance. And what's interesting is because she's losing that bearing, she's actually adding a little bit more. And so that's that borrowing of the force. It's like I'm kind of enticing her to find her bearing. And so as I disappear, she's pushing more into it.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got to avoid thinking, oh, you know, I've got her now, and pushing. And just keep my mind in that space and go beyond, and then I move. Okay? So as opposed to, I'm gonna keep everything good. I'm gonna keep my posture, my quad back. Yeah, and push, push, push. Oh, shoot. Well, there you go. That's a good demonstration. That's really interesting. Yeah, it just took me, and I was planning on coming back, even with everything in place. So, in other words, my nose is double redontion, my bow stance is good. I'm connecting my tailbone, my crown of my head, all of that it's pretty good. But if I try to move through the form, I cannot move her. So you layer this extra piece, this internal piece of placing your mind in the space. It could be your internal space, it could be the space here, and then just going back behind and beyond her, and then
Yeah.
yeah. Now it doesn't mean that I'm not applying some force, but can you describe that force opposed to the other one?
It's just like you're tossing me off balance. It's not like you're throwing me.
Yeah. And the harder she presses, and if she doesn't press very hard, then the results are less. Well, she's you to collapse. Yeah. It's all right. It's good practice for me. What we mean there is that you'll have some partners where their elbows will collapse. If you really want a nice feedback loop, you want to try and train your partner to not collapse. And that actually helps their Tai Chi form as well, if they're keeping their structure. But you will get more of a bounce when they don't collapse.